here with me.
Yeah.
And I know him just maybe I met you a couple times, even though you met Michelle many times.
Yes, I did go to school with her for 3 years or
Okay.
2.5 years when she came.
Okay,
freshman.
and yeah, time flies because we are having fun, right?
It does.
Okay, so you're native SF.
I am. I grew up near West Portal. Um,
Okay. So have you ever thought of moving to another country or not yet?
oh, I'd love to.
You
I'm considering moving shortly. Like the house will probably be the condo I bought probably sell it.
Oh, you want to move to Paris?
I just want to not be here. I'm just.
You're burned out
I'm
on
sort
it?
of burnt down on San Francisco at this point.
Okay.
So it's but my father's a retired diplomat with the Foreign Service, so like I've had an opportunity to go to lots of other countries and live there for periods of time. So
So you traveled a little bit, or not?
I've traveled a healthy amount. I've traveled a lot through Asia,
Okay.
and he was posted in Japan and Thailand, so he
Oh.
covered all of Asia.
And when you were little, you went along with him?
No, he started doing. Funny story. I'm in college, just my first semester at UC San Diego, and I get a phone call from him saying, "Just want to give you a heads up. Your mother's retiring.
Hmm.
I'm dissolving my practice. We're moving to Japan. Don't worry, we aren't going to sell the home." And my mother retired from Mills Peninsula at that point. He closed his practice and he got a job as a diplomat, and off to Japan he went.
Now
No,
he's
he's back now.
back there.
Yeah.
Oh, back then.
Oh, I wish I
Back
was
then.
still in college.
Back then.
Yeah, back then. This is 20 years ago.
And you went with him, or you stayed here?
No, I was already in college, so like I didn't get that opportunity. If he had done it a few years earlier,
Oh,
I would
maybe,
have. So
maybe.
I would visit them.
Okay.
Christmas, I couldn't come to San Francisco for Christmas break because they weren't here. So
Okay.
I would visit them in Thailand, Japan, and we've traveled to a number of other places in that part of the world. So it was fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So did you get a taste of Asian culture?
I've gotten a pretty I mean I've spent over it's probably at least two or 3 months out there over the travels. So I've
Is it the place you would live?
I could live in Thailand.
You would?
Oh yeah, we went to Thailand a year and a half ago, and my son even asked like, "Hey, this would be a cool place to have a house." I wouldn't have a problem with Thailand. Japan, anyone could live in Japan.
Mm.
Japan's like the cleanest, safest country I feel like I've ever been in my life. So
Oh. Yeah, Japantown is the cleanest area of the city, too.
it actually, yeah, when you think about it, it is. That's how the whole country is. You don't feel at risk.
Yeah, they don't trash and everything.
Yeah.
So now you're back here and you're thinking of moving a little bit.
Yeah, I am.
Any state of the United States or country?
I haven't even thought that far ahead. I just know I want to sell and I need to do it quickly. The price of the houses are not going to be going up, I don't think, for the next 12 or 24 months. So
Okay.
it's probably a good time to make
sell.
that decision. Yeah.
Oh,
They've already gone down in San Francisco in a few areas. Like,
really?
Yeah, I have a friend who I helped her buy her condo. I've had my place for 20 plus years, so maybe like 15, 16 years ago. And she's maybe 40,000 over from where she purchased it at 16 years ago. So
Okay, so you think we're heading to a down market for sellers?
I think it's going to be I don't think it's going to be like what you saw 15 years ago during the collapse, the mortgage collapse.
Maybe not as bad.
No, I don't think we'll see that in our lifetime again.
Okay, hopefully
Yeah,
not.
but it will go down.
Same with the stock market. People say, "Oh, are we going back to 2008, where the stock market plunged?"
But that was different. This is what's happening now is man-made.
Okay.
That was man-made too, granted, because they were giving everyone loans. So that was man-made too from that standpoint. But this is like a one-person man-made. So,
Yeah,
So
and also the brokers manipulate the market with AI.
potentially, I mean, that's probably above my pay grade. I worked at Charles Schwab and Morgan Stanley as an advisor for years, and the trades that you and I make don't really count. It's what the big institutions make. So,
Of course, yeah, the 401k and
yeah, CalPERS as an example, like there. So it depends. I'm sure there's some manipulation that happens.
Actually, this week, they're doing an investigation of all the trade of the congregational people because they found out they would sell just before the market would fall.
Yeah. So they've known this for years. There's even an AI program now that will that tell you what people in Congress are buying, what they're buying and selling.
But how do they know? That's the question.
So they're interviewing. From what I understand, they're doing they're checking out a few people, not just Congress, people in the White House, from what I understand, because Trump talked about taking off the tariffs in the middle of the night to people, and so they're curious. Well, did some of those people go in and place trades? So in that situation, it would have made sense for them to go in and buy, not sell, right? Because the market popped back up.
That's what I read today. It's a good time to buy.
Well, only because the market today was flat, or it was down when I last looked. The point is, there's always been that will always exist. I don't know how. The only way you can
buy low, sell high.
Well, you want to do that, but the only way you can take that, the only way you can make it so those people aren't manipulating the market is if you have they don't have any control of their portfolio. So
they give the money to the manager,
to someone else.
And the manager, hedge funds.
And so as long as they're assuming they're not telling their manager about stuff, then you wouldn't have that issue. But as long as you have as long as Congress can manage their own portfolio, it's hard not to do that. It's almost human nature. So because they sold just before that market went down a week or two ago, and everybody say, "Oh, what do they know that we didn't know?" Kind of. We knew the tariffs were going to hurt. Yeah. I don't think anyone knew that he was going to
go even higher
on some, and then he capitulated.
Yeah, and he said 90 days free is no tariffs, only for China now.
And unfortunately, a lot of people in this country think they don't know how tariffs work.
Yeah, now it's 105 US to 125 to export to US from China, but to export to China it's 175.
Yeah, they don't understand though that money we have to pay for.
Yeah,
we don't get to see that money.
So if you want to buy from China, you got to pay 175% more. That means almost triple, almost.
Yes, if you're buying from China, so whatever the tariff is, let's say, just to make it easy, let's just say it's 10%. Yeah. Right. So if you're buying a product for $1, it's right? Like $1.10. When that dollar it's $1 when it leaves. When it gets to this country, the government says, well, if you want this, you need it. Now it's 110.
Right, but now it's 275, not 110.
Well, yeah, they changed the tariffs amount, but the point is, people don't realize that tariffs are just a tax. That cost gets passed down to us.
You tax the people indirectly.
They're taxing us. Yeah. We're paying for that.
Yeah, that's what they said. They say it's people will pay about $1,200 a year more. It's a form of a tax.
It's a tax. So what's the California food? Avocados.
Yeah,
that's we get a lot of avocados from Mexico.
Yeah, it went up this week. It went up.
Of course it did. Why? Why do you think? Tariffs.
Because from Mexico. Yeah. Yeah, the avocados went up this week. What else did I notice went up this week?
Anything that's in Mexico would have gone up.
Yeah, tomato.
Yeah. It's so why it doesn't make any sense to me. If I saw the money, now if that tariff money then got recycled into some type of service for me,
yeah, fine.
It's a tax. I don't like it, but I can at least understand it. But I'll never see that money.
Yeah, because they have 1.75 trillion in deficit, so they want to put that money toward the deficit.
But there's not. That only helps you if your economy stays where it is. And frankly, look what Canada's doing. They're not going to buy our F-35s. That's the most expensive plane. They're going to go to Europe and buy either Dassault or one of the other military planes. Look at Europe is talking more to China now, right? So all this tariff did was
switch.
For 30 years we've been trying to make
rechannel the exchanges.
They're rechanneling how people are going to be doing business, and for 30 years we tried to isolate China essentially as best we could. We knew they were a training partner. I get that, but we wanted the Europeans to look to us first. Well, what happens when we
stop buying,
stop helping the Europeans, who are they going to look to? We're the largest economy. They're the second largest economy. So if they can't count on us, if I'm China, I'm going to be like, hey, welcome, come. So.
But Europe, is 500 million. We don't need the 300 million of Americans. We have more people in Europe than in America.
Yeah.
But and we don't need 300 million to help us fight Russia over 140 million only. So we, in terms of number, the Europe are the biggest.
They are. They're just, and that's why, you have the EU that came together so they can be one
Big
block.
One. Yeah.
They're the biggest.
United States of Europe.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know the exact numbers. I thought there's like 330 million people in the U.S. in that ballpark. Maybe there's 350. And I mean, that's 20 million that doesn't change anything number-wise.
We don't know how many immigrants are here.
Yeah, and there's probably a lot. I don't think there's more than
20 million.
I would say 20 million. Maybe there's more.
That's what it's estimated as.
Yeah, I mean, frankly, I was talking with someone who immigrated here on my ride down here from El Salvador, which has been all over the news.
Oh, yeah.
And he's like, people don't, are you going to go pick the tomatoes in the field? And I'm like, I don't want that job. And so, like, why can't we just figure something out?
Employers want them here.
I know. So why can't we figure a way to get to come here for 9 months out of the year and work?
And then go home 3 months.
And if you do that for 5 years, you can apply for citizenship. Something like that seems like a good deal.
That is a good deal.
It's pretty basic. You worked for 5 years. You came here.
But they want to keep them illegal, so they pay them less.
I'm sure big companies do. But if you don't have people to hire, then you wind up paying more anyway.
Oh yeah, you'll have to hire the locals.
Yeah, and we're more expensive. I don't know anyone who's going to get on their hands and knees for 10 to 12 hours a day and pick berries, or it's a hard job, and they're willing to take that job because it's for them it makes
survival.
sense.
It's survival.
It makes sense. So like they do it to hopefully grow, and unfortunately
they know that, the government knows that, but they play dumb. They say, oh, we're not going to give them citizenship until they come and say I want citizenship, but they're not going to go voluntarily and give it to them.
This country was built off everyone in this country, unless you're an American Indian, is an illegal immigrant. That's just a fact. so it's just, I have a little American Indian in me, but I wasn't overall half of me was shipped over from Africa at some point, and the other half ran away from Eastern Europe because they were being persecuted. So
you're multinational.
I joke around. I started saying this in the 90s, that I'm a Hebrew, and that means I'm Jewish and black.
Oh, okay.
So
I never heard that expression. I learned something today.
Yeah.
So basically, you can go on either side of the aisle, kind of thing.
I hope so.
I mean, you can take both sides because you are both.
I understand both. I think I understand both sides. I celebrated everything. I learned about everything.
Yeah.
I have my own thoughts on all that, but I understand where everyone's coming from.
But then once you became an adult, then you had to pick which culture attracts you the most.
Well, I would say that I identify as Jewish, but most people see me on the street and they're going to think I'm mixed or black, right? Like no one's going to look at me and say, oh, he looks like oh, there's a white guy. Just not going to happen. So I identify as being black and Jewish. It's
you don't have to. Also now you don't have to identify yourself. You can say other.
Yeah, I mean I've always, if I can say black and white. Mm-hmm. Like they don't ask religion. They haven't asked religion. I've never been asked in something I filled out my religion.
But ethnic group they do.
Ethnic group they did. And if you could fill out two things, I'd pick Jewish and black. I put black and white. That's what
you can pick two.
I'm black and white.
You can pick two.
You couldn't before, right? Like you had to pick one.
That's right. Yeah. Now you can pick two, and then if it's more than two, you put other.
Yeah. So I pick. I always used to pick black. Because I wasn't white.
That was unfair in the old days, wasn't it?
Yeah, they should have had it.
Like I don't know, maybe 50 years ago, black would take over, but now they say no, you can be mixed because so many people are mixed.
And more people are going to be mixed.
Yeah.
And 200 years from now, there'll be, that will probably be the majority of people are some type of mix.
Exactly. That's what my history teacher told us. They say, in 100 years, everybody will be brown.
Yeah, so like it doesn't, I don't know why they did it. I'm glad they changed. But, so I've identified.
Yeah, in 100 years, we're going to see a different face on the earth. I mean,
I think so. I think you're going to see different faces. People will be a little closer to my complexion overall.
And mixed.
Yeah, they'll be mixed. And hopefully we're better people at that point.
Because we understand both sides.
I hope so. Society has, pitfalls. There's problems.
They still
all
do.
over the
Maybe
world.
the old generation still does.
Yeah, I mean, look at all the fighting. I mean, look at just the global fighting. There's pitfalls.
They don't want to
everywhere.
stop. They don't want to stop.
It's big business, but still, it's disappointing. It's disappointing. I mean, because I have friends in San Francisco. You're Jewish, but you got Palestinian. I have Palestinian friends. I have friends from Iran. I have friends from
You look like both, actually.
People thought I was Moroccan when I was young.
Yeah.
They come up and they speak French to me, and I'm like, I'm not. I understand, but I'm not Moroccan.
Oh, okay. Yeah, you look like both sides of the aisle. I mean.
Yeah, I could be when I'm with my friends from the Middle East.
Yeah.
People they'll speak Farsi to me. I don't know what they're saying, but
Oh.
but they don't. You can't tell.
Mm-hmm. And when you go, let's say, out in the club, people ask you, or they don't care.
Well, it depends. No one. So interesting. There's a common sort of how do I say this? There's a phenomena.
Mm-hmm.
So my son is 25% black, right?
Mm-hmm.
He looks like in the summertime he looks like a white kid with a great tan. Like he has my features, but he just tans up well, like someone from southern Italy who's always been, or Greek, like that type of color.
Yeah, yeah.
And he can get dark. And
But then he probably feel good in his own skin because you are in the same situation yourself.
Yeah, I can tell him like. But the funny thing is ever since I was young,
Mm-hmm.
minorities could tell I was mixed.
Oh, okay, but not
Caucasians, not necessarily.
Oh, okay.
But minorities would be like, oh, that kid's mixed. And the same thing happens for my son. They can look at him and be like, he's mixed.
They can stay out?
And I don't know.
A little bit.
Yeah, I don't know if anyone's written a book on how they can figure that out. But the fact is, like, I can look at someone and be like, that person's mixed.
Yeah. Like Steve Curry has blue eyes and blonde hair. So.
Yeah, well, but I mean, theoretically, there are some black people who have blue eyes. It's very rare, but it happens.
Yeah, like you and Steve Curry.
Yeah.
But anyway, let's move on to FAIS, since that's what we put on the title. So FAIS Alumni.
Yeah.
Did you have a good experience at FAIS?
Overall, yeah.
Yeah?
The principal was solid, Jane Campbell. Campbell.
Yeah.
The director...
She's in Canada now.
Yeah, she was in Hong Kong, then Canada. I'm connected.
She was Hong Kong, and now she's International School of Canada.
Yeah, Jane was solid. I mean, she was disciplinarian. I did make visits to her office.
Mm-hmm.
But
Where
she was
you
fair.
to her office in Canada?
No, I mean, I made a visit to her office when I was at school. I got called into the office. So,
okay.
So
she was harmless. She was like a tiny little woman.
When she was there, she had that. Well, I I was that French American. A window broke, so I got called into the office.
And they say it's you?
Oh, it was 100% me. I wasn't necessarily trying to break a window.
It was an accident.
I was goofing around with my backpack. It went to a window, but nonetheless, I did do it. And so she was fair. And then I liked French American. Beatrice, who was the director's son, I can't remember his name. Whoever the director was at the school.
Ivaldi?
I forgot his name.
Before Ivaldi.
Yeah, what was that? Beatrice was their so I can't remember the director's name, but I liked it. I went to ski week. I got to go skiing a few times a year.
Oh, okay.
I learned a language. The only thing that French American was.
They had 26 nationalities.
At the school?
Yeah.
I believe it. It was more diverse, at least especially from Europe and Africa, than any school I've ever been in my life.
Yeah, there was a lot of nationalities. I don't know how they understood each other, because some of them tried to understand English. Took them 3 months to catch up, maybe.
Well, that and I mean the only problem with French American, and maybe it's not happening now, was that I was behind in English. I was ahead in science, ahead in math. I was ahead in everything.
Except
I was
English?
behind in English. And everyone
And that
I know,
was unusual because you're born here.
everyone I know who left French American was behind in English when they went to another school.
Same with Michelle. How come? They were bad teachers, I guess.
No, I think it wasn't the teacher's fault. Like, I remember some of the teachers' names. Some of them were great. The problem is, say there's 7 classes in a day.
Mm-hmm.
Only 2 of them might be in English, and the other 5 are in French.
So you lose.
You lose. Yeah, you're not practicing. I mean, and only one of those is English class. The other one might be PE or art. So you're not. You're just. You're just socializing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
So they didn't have enough English.
You learn English from MTV?
Well, you could, but then your English is. I mean, I have friends from French. Some are great writers, and some are actually writers. Benoit, for example, is a writer. Like, he's a reporter and a writer. I don't know
What's
if you ever.
his name?
Benoit Denizet Lewis. You don't remember? Did you ever interview him? He was in my class. He was my best friend back then.
He became a writer.
Yeah, he went to Northwestern, and now he's an author, like a full-blown author. But if you ask a lot of my French American, to this day they say their English isn't where they think it should be.
I know. I thought the English teachers were below average. I mean, I'm being kind.
I think her name was Miss Schaefer. She was great. Like, I remember my English teachers. Like, some of them were great.
I remember that name.
Yes, and so I don't have those hang-ups with the English now. I mean, when I moved to a new school, I was in the honor program for everything, but they held me back in English and said, we're not going to put you in honors English for a whole semester until you show you can catch up. So it only took a semester, but I was still behind. That shouldn't happen at a school when
Did
you're
you
paying
catch up after you left that school?
Mm-hmm. I caught up within 6 months, and I was ahead within a year.
Oh, good. You went to a public school.
I went to Hoover, which at that point was one of the better public schools in San Francisco.
I should have done that with Michelle. Yeah. She was very happy with public school, and I made the mistake to put her with lycée and French American, and she did not like it.
Yeah, I mean, my math was above everyone's.
Mm.
My science was above everyone's.
It's only the language part.
It was only the English, and so once I caught up, which was pretty easy to do, I was fine. But I can only imagine if mine was behind. I don't think it got better when they got to high school. Maybe it did, maybe it didn't.
And then you were happy in public school.
Yeah, I went to Hoover and then I went to Lowell. At that point, Lowell was the best public schools in the country. So it was, I don't know. I think it was like ranked number 11 in the country back then. It was a good school. I probably played a little too much than I should have, but it was still a good school.
Yeah, and then you moved on. You know, your life takes over after that.
It does. I left for college. That's the only time I left the city.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then you say you worked for Charles Schwab, and you were an advisor.
Yeah, so I worked for Schwab and Morgan Stanley, and I was managing money. I think at a max it was a few $100 million.
So that's a good career then.
Well, it was a good career. There were things you don't like about any business. Oh. So, and I really like technology, so I was like, how do I try to switch into tech? So I worked at some startups.
Did you? Oh.
I did. I got some startups, and that was fun too. And now I'm at a point in my life where I'm like, what do I want to do now? So I've been writing short stories.
The first day for the rest of your life.
It sort of is. Like, I've been writing stories and thinking, like, what business would I do if I wanted to do a business? Like, what would be fun? Do
you have an idea you can do a startup?
I don't have a tech. I mean, I have an idea. I do have an idea. Are you familiar with streamers, like the game streamers?
But I heard the word streamers. So you stream games?
Yeah. So I have friends who literally their job or their side job is they have a camera in front of them. Mm-hmm. They have their game showing on everyone's screen, and they talk as they're playing a game.
Okay.
And
that's on YouTube now?
Facebook, Twitch is a big company that does it. Twitch is huge.
Twitch is huge. Yeah.
Facebook does it. YouTube does it. There's a few other places, but those are and TikTok. Those are like the primary places.
Are you a YouTuber?
I don't stream. I've had friends say I should. I'm friendly with a lot of the streamers.
Okay.
And so I've thought of some ideas that would make their life easier. That could be tech oriented, but I would have to talk to other people to pull all the missing parts together.
Did you read that China is refusing to sell TikTok to the US now?
Yeah, they were never. I mean,
No, I mean, there were talks about it for a long time, but then they say, well, if you want to be mean with us, we're going to do the same.
I think that turnabout is fair play, unfortunately.
Yeah, an eye for an eye.
Yeah, I don't.
A tooth for a tooth, but they say an eye for an eye, the world goes blind.
I agree, but if China, if my thought, and I could be very wrong, that if the TikTok thing had happened in the last before,
yeah,
then it would have gone. There would have been a chance it went to people. Now, if the sale goes through, I think it's going to be a buddy of Trump, and he's going to be getting paid on the back end.
Well, that's what Trump wants to do. He wants to give it to Larry Ellison of Oracle.
Yeah, I'm not cool with that. Now, if he's the top bidder and the best person for it, okay, then I'm sort of cool with it. But if he isn't,
but now China say, okay, that's what you want. Well, we're not going to give it to you.
Good. You know what? Good for China on that one.
They put their foot down on it.
And they people don't realize in this country how there's people work really hard. And I mean, I've been to China. There's lots of
they're much higher level in math.
Well, it's not just I mean, they may be. I haven't tested them on their math, but I do know that they're
in computer science.
They're paying people a lot less, so goods cost a lot less out there, and they get shipped over here. And I get that's what Trump's trying to do, get those jobs back to the U.S. But if they really want to do that, they should have done that like 40 years ago. Like doing it now, this is a consumer economy. We're not a manufacturing economy anymore. We're a consumer economy.
We buy and we sell.
Yeah, so it's buying and selling, a consumer-driven economy. Yeah. So
if we can't buy low, it's gonna be hard on the consumer.
It's gonna be hard on. So then they don't, and that's what brings down our economy.
Yeah.
And it does. A big foreign company can't spin up jobs in a new country overnight.
Yeah.
It takes years to plan these things out.
Yeah, to build the factories of America.
Exactly. So it's not going to happen
during this time. It might happen little, but not huge.
Nothing big will happen. I'll say I don't think anything big will happen during his term. It takes years.
Hyundai just invested $4 billion, I believe. But
I'd be willing to.
But that's very little compared to the trillions. Yeah,
that's the problem. Like people hear these big numbers, and I'm like, that's not a lot of money for these companies. Literally, Elon Musk could just do that with his own checking account. So the point is, it's not a lot, and unfortunately, with people, some people I met who are voters in this country, and I like some conservative ideas. I just think that the things that we're doing now just don't make a lot of sense for the long run, unfortunately.
But worldwide, are we behind in level of the school level of kids?
Well, we've been going down for years, but even California's at fault. Prop 13 messed up all the public schools in California.
Oh, okay. I heard we are number 53 in the world, but you'd think California is number 1, 2, or 3. I doubt they're in the top 20. And what are they now?
I don't know. I bet you somewhere between 20 and 40. I doubt they're in the top 20. And California used to be really high up there, but the money that came from Prop 13 messed that all up. Money that came from taxes.
What that money do?
Well, Prop 13 is what basically, I think it was in the 70s, you had people who were essentially getting priced out of their home because of taxes. Oh. And no one wants to see grandma, grandpa have to leave their home because now they can't pay taxes. Yeah. So what they did is the Prop 13 makes it so your property tax overall is pretty low. Like you pay based on what you purchase, right? And then there's slight increments.
And what they do with that?
Well, before a lot of that property tax money went to school, but now there's a lot less of it. Ah. So that's where the issue is. So, as a property owner, I could take my property, and as long as if I sell it, as long as I buy with a new place within a certain period of time,
you can reinvest,
and it costs less than what I sold my property for, I get to keep the old tax basis.
I see.
My family.
Why would you do that? You want to upgrade in your life, right?
Let me give you an example. Reason you want to do that. Let's say my family. Let's say anyone who bought their house in the 60s or 70s, they pay $1,000 a year, maybe property taxes, maybe $1,500. They don't pay a lot, right?
But now they pay $5.
Well, they still pay that amount. because of Prop 13.
Okay.
Now, if they were to sell their home and buy a new place and it costs more money, they're going to pay whatever the tax is on the new value. But if they buy a place that's below that number, they get to keep their old property tax. Thus, they theoretically could stay in their home. I get the concept of why they did it, but all that extra money could have was going to public schools. And
now we get the lottery, right?
Yeah, but that doesn't make up for it. It's not that much. And
okay.
Yeah, and they could have they didn't tie it to inflation. Like a lot of things are tied to inflation. They didn't tie. All they had to do is say, hey, yes, we're going to make the property tax here, and now we're going to tie how it raises to inflation. So every year it would go up on average 2.5%. Not a lot. But they didn't do that for some reason. The lawmakers.
What did they do?
They I don't know the full formula.
How much do you pay? You pay a lot now?
I don't pay a lot because I bought my place 20 years ago.
Oh, okay.
But like if I bought a place now, I'd pay a lot. I have friends who are paying, if they buy $1 million place, they're paying,
5%.
They're paying, they're paying, I think, close to $10,000 a year in taxes or something like that.
Yeah,
so imagine you buy a $5 million place, or San Francisco. What's the average place? Maybe 1.5 would be my guess.
Oh yeah. One.
Maybe 2, 1.5.
Yeah, it depends how many bedroom, but 1.25 is average.
So that's $12,000 going to taxes. So it's expensive.
And that affect the education, you said?
Well, no. So imagine if you just retired from your job.
Okay.
You're done. You're retired,
okay.
and you're still paying maybe some bills. And you have your property taxes. You're paying whatever your bills are, right? Well, the problem is property tax was all over the place. So people were losing their homes because they couldn't afford the tax bill associated with where they were living. So they had to sell, right? Then you have people. So California changed the rules to help those people. That makes sense.
Okay.
But when they changed those rules, they didn't tie the new number to inflation.
Oh.
That should be the bare minimum that they tie something to, because.
And what are they doing now? That they have new propositions?
They have. I know people want to try to repeal that, but it will probably never happen. I mean, think about it. It's if you're 60 to 90 years old, why would you don't want that repealed?
You're gonna.
And do you care about? Yeah. Do you care about?
No.
Yeah. Do you care about public education? Why? You're old. I'm old.
You already finished school.
I finished. I care about public education because I have a son in high school.
Oh, okay.
Would I care the same in 10 years?
No.
I'd like to say I would, but my pocketbook probably says I wouldn't. I'm just being real. I don't know.
Yeah, so it's a different generation look at it different ways.
And they're getting it worse behind us. So if someone said, hey, we're going to fix this, you're going to pay a little more, but not a lot more, I'd be okay with that. That would make sense.
Yeah, but I didn't hear, like you said, of a proposition that would do that.
I know they've tried or talked about it, but look up Prop 13, and again, property tax money was directly going into education back then.
Okay.
So because there's a lot less of there's people who pay a lot of money, but anyone who owned their home for 20 years is paying.
But if you sell your house at a profit, then you don't mind to pay bigger tax on it.
Well, yeah, tax is tax. And if you sell it at a profit, I don't know what the new rules are now, but it used to be the first $250 you get an exemption. If you're with your spouse, you get up to $500,000. So if you paid $500,000 and you sold for $1 million, you pay zero tax. And even if you have to pay tax, it's capital gains tax, which is way less than income tax. So
I see.
I don't have any problem with that side of it. That makes sense.
But then if you reinvest it, it's okay.
If you reinvest it in a place that, as long as the price isn't an upgrade, then you get to keep your old property tax number. So that's the benefit of, the whole idea was to keep people in their homes. So, right. So you're not upgrading if you.
So in your case, you're thinking about whether you want to buy another house or whether you want to just go to another state.
Theoretically, so we're talking about two different things. Prop 13 is a state rule, and what I'm talking about is capital gains. So theoretically, I can go to another state. Prop 13 wouldn't be an issue in another state. And taxes overall are lower in other states. Right. They offer less services, too.
But you consider these things before you're going to purchase your next home.
I would. I could rent it. I could rent in the short term and figure out
what's best for you.
What's best for me.
All right. So are you self-employed now?
Right now. So like I mentioned, I've been writing. I stopped working about 6, 7 months ago, and been
And
focusing on writing.
you want to change career?
I want to pivot. So I've been doing, but I was at Schwab for 8 years, Morgan Stanley for 4 or 5 years, J.P. Morgan
Yeah.
as well.
Yeah.
Um,
So now you're tired of this, you wanna change.
yeah, and I mean, and I love the startup life. That was fun. So I definitely consider that if it was the right role that made sense. Almost all my roles have been in consultative sales. I've been, as an advisor, you're still in sales. You're helping.
Yeah, you talk to people all day.
You talk to people all day about their money and guide them to what are good decisions, and they either say yes or they say no, and that's that.
And so working for big firms like that, you had access to private information.
I didn't have no. I mean, they're very strict in terms of what you could do with information. So
Oh.
like because no one wants to catch a case.
Oh.
So like I never had something come across my desk where it was something that wasn't already in public knowledge.
Oh, okay.
I've never had.
You never had something where you act on it before the others.
No, that's illegal too. Just so you know, that's by
but-
definition, that's insider trading. So
Yeah, but did you ever have a case where you knew something that other of your...
there are times when I knew something was happening because we had, but you can't act on that.
Okay.
You just can't. I mean, like that's easy to catch too.
Oh.
I mean, it's
If you sell everything, then they catch
track
it right
everything.
away.
It's very easy to catch.
Oh, this okay.
So like, let's say, like I remember my old office had some people who invested in Google very early, so they're very wealthy, and you would never know that they were as wealthy as they were. Very nice people drove
They invest in Google?
yeah, before it was Google, like early.
Mm-hmm.
They drive like a Prius. Like you would never know they're wealthy. Super nice, down to earth, regular people.
Mm. And
they
you
would,
knew they were wealthy.
Oh, yeah, well, because we were helping them with their money.
Ah.
But the point was like they would hear stuff, but they can't act on it. They'll get in trouble. Even if I heard something, I would never act on it. That's a
That's a no-no.
You don't make it. Yeah, it's just not worth that type. It's not. I don't know why
You don't
anyone
want
would
to
be
lose
that
your
greedy.
license, yeah.
And anyone who has that kind of money, like why would you even put the rest of your money at risk just for a little bit of extra money? Like it doesn't make any sense to me.
Well, when Trump was elected, Elon Musk's stock went up 34 billion, his personal wealth went up 34 billion. I mean, they allowed it.
Well, but that's not insider trading.
Yeah, but for someone to gain so much money,
He's lost it all now.
He lost it.
All of it.
But for him to gain so much money in one day is like...
It's almost disgusting.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
1 million is okay, but billions?
Well, I mean, it's relative to how much money you're starting with, right? So he's starting with more money.
Oh.
But that being said, I mean, he lost all of that. He's down now.
He's down now. Okay.
And
People are mad at him.
well, people are mad at him. The terrorists, electric cars in China
It's better.
are so much better than electric cars in the United States.
The cars in the United States are kind of bulky and big, and in China they're much smaller.
I would argue that there's multiple electric car companies in China, and they're just more stylish. The cars look better.
They look cuter.
Yeah, and if you're going to Asia, to Thailand or to any of the Southeast Asian countries, they have all these cute little cars, and you're
Yeah.
like, where did that come from? Oh, it's Chinese.
Oh, yeah, you can get Kia, I think it's called. But
Kia's Korean.
yeah, it's Korean.
Yeah, but
And it's tiny and well designed, and
yeah, they have some, and they're big on like new features. So features that take longer to come out in cars in the U.S. They as soon as they get
They
it,
already have
they
it.
want to put it out.
Mm.
It's not that their technology is better, just that they will put the technology in cars faster than our companies will.
Mm. Yeah, do you have an electric car now?
Do I have a car?
An electric.
I do not. I have a good old Acura TL Type S.
So you do buy gas then?
I buy gas. I don't have a problem owning electric cars. I mean, some of them are cool, and some of Elon's cars look like they're fun to drive.
Is it true? Which one is more polluting, the battery or the gas car?
That I don't know. I don't know. I mean, like I would assume from a smog standpoint, of course, a gas car combustion is going to have pollution, but I hear like the actual building of the batteries themselves are pollution.
It's very polluted.
And before they couldn't recycle them. I think they could recycle batteries now.
Oh.
But I don't know if they could before. So like at that point, then that's just extra waste and pollution too.
Yeah.
So I would think it's good to have a little bit of everything and let people make a decision.
If you can have 2 cars, I guess.
Well, yeah, but you can. I mean, just if you can have 2 cars, but just like if you want to buy gas, buy gas. If you want to buy electric, buy electric. Buy what you want. You know, that's a consumer-driven economy. That's where we live.
But if you are in ecology and you don't know which one to pick, somebody needs to tell you.
Well, and if I had done research for that, like I'm sure that research already exists.
Yeah.
They should know.
Yeah.
And they, don't take our word for it. Just do the research.
Yeah, but so the new president was totally against electrical car because they would kill the people who were building gas cars.
Gas cars, yeah.
And now that his friend built electrical car, he's switching.
Well, but that's Trump. That's just what he does.
He switched.
Yeah, he does what makes sense for him at that point in time. That's a lot of people do that. They don't make it as obvious as him. But a lot of people, unfortunately, it's like, oh, it's convenient for me to do this, so I'm going to do it. It's convenient. Now him and Elon Musk, they don't seem to be as chummy this last week.
Oh, no. Elon was I want to quit the government.
Yeah. But next week, it may be the difference.
Yeah. But I heard that Trump is letting his employees drive his Teslas because he doesn't drive, obviously.
Yeah.
So he let all his employees use them.
I'm sure. I mean, Trump's going to do what Trump's going to do. If you think anything different, it doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, for him, it's cheap change to buy a little car like that.
Well, yes, he's very wealthy. People seem to forget that he went bankrupt a bunch of times, but he's very.
Now he's very.
He's very wealthy, but he's
$4
lost.
billion, yeah.
He's lost so much money in this year. I mean, like
he's
gone bankrupt early years in the 80s and 90s. He was as old as I am now. I mean, by my early years, like what's he 80 years old?
78.
Okay, so 30 years ago, I know this in the 80s this was happening.
Oh. Okay.
And in the 90s, so yeah, he was in his 50s. He was in his 40s and 50s. He wasn't a spring chicken.
Yeah, and so he lost money, then he rebounds. I mean,
Yeah, he's smart when it comes to the standpoint of leveraging debt to buy property. That's what he's been good at doing.
That's his specialty.
Yeah, but it hasn't been just a smooth ride up all the way.
Don't buy his books, or buy his books if you want. But I heard there's a ghostwriter who writes them.
Yeah, that makes sense, though.
Yeah.
I mean, you really think he's going to write a book?
No, I don't. I can't imagine him in front of a.
No, I mean, maybe if there was a Coca-Cola and some McDonald's, he would do it because he loves. I like that food too. But that being said,
now when you said you write, do you write fiction?
I've been writing a little bit of sci-fi, which has been fun. So
fiction is fun.
Yeah, so I've been writing stuff that I can post onto YouTube and have AI do the audio for it, so you just can listen to it.
Yeah.
I have one that's canned and good to go. I'm working on another one now. They have different topics.
Audible kind of thing?
Yeah, so I just write it out and then you can get
put it audio.
Yeah, put it audio. There's AI that can do it for me.
Oh, that's good. That's good. That told Michelle to learn about AI because that's where it's going, and that's
I've been using a lot of AI because there's audio for it. I'll write something and then I'll say like, hey, I'll ask AI what it thinks, take some of its ideas, take some of my ideas, burn it, move it all together, and it's been fun. I don't think AI is there where it could write a good story or a good outline, a good article.
Did you take a 1-month course on AI?
No, I just play with it.
You just learned auto learning.
I play with it a little. Like I like ChatGPT, which is based here in San Francisco.
Everybody uses that.
They do use it, but
unless they get the premium. I'd like to switch to French.
Yep. Okay, I'll try. Un petit peu.
Un petit peu. Donc nous avons avec nous Michael Lauer from FAIS. Pardon, en français. Michael Lauer, qui a été à l'école franco-américaine internationale de San Francisco. Et peut-être qu'on va discuter un peu de ton expérience et si ça t'a apporté quelque chose dans la vie. Est-ce que tu as aimé d'abord ton expérience avec une école bilingue?
Oui, quand j'étais à lycée français, oh God, it's been so long.
Tu as appris le français d'abord.
Bon, j'ai appris le français, mais c'était une école où nous étudions beaucoup.
Est-ce que ça a été bénéfique dans ta vie?
Non.
Pas du tout.
Non.
Mais
un petit peu.
Tu n'as jamais eu des clients à Charles Schwab qui étaient français?
Ici, non.
Non.
Quand je travaille,
Oui.
il y a à peu près de 5-6 personnes que j'ai parlé français avec.
Ah,
C'est pas une langue.
pas beaucoup. Oui.
Non, non ici.
Et en quoi ça t'a aidé dans la vie? Je sais pas, ça t'a dû t'ouvrir peut-être ta façon de voir les choses?
La langue ne m'aide pas.
La langue ne t'aide pas.
Mais quand les écoles étudient les enfants, c'était it was very beneficial.
D'avoir des contacts internationaux?
Non, mais my science, c'est meilleur que ma math, meilleur.
C'est vrai, c'est vrai.
But and I think that's from French American.
Oh, you started on a better foot. Tu
Yes.
as commencé à un meilleur niveau.
Yes, compared to les autres qui.
Et tu as passé le bac international?
Non.
Le bac américain?
J'ai appris des classes en français quand j'étais à l'eau.
Oui.
Mais c'est
très peu comparé au bac.
It was a joke.
Non, mais maintenant il y a le bac de Genève qui est bilingue, oui.
Yeah, à UC San Diego, j'ai appris de littérature en français, mais again,
très peu.
It was for fun.
Ah oui, parce que ça t'intéresse.
Mais maintenant, c'est 20 ans que j'ai appris que je suis dans une classe en français et à peu près de 10 ans que j'ai parlé.
Que tu as quitté l'école.
J'ai oublié la langue. Tu
as passé quand même 3 mois en France ou pas encore?
Non. Vous avez quelqu'un que je peux aller
oui. Avec qui tu peux rester. Tu peux faire un échange. Ils utilisent ta maison et tu utilises leur maison.
That could happen.
Swap.
We could do a swap.
Yeah.
So I can still understand pretty much everything. But the problem is
immersion.
Yeah, I need to be in it because I am thinking for my words. 20 years ago, I didn't have to think for my words.
Maintenant, tu as oublié.
Yeah, so I need, if I'm around it, hear it.
Mais est-ce que tu regardes YouTube en français?
No, I mean, it's my fault, I know.
Ils ont des très bons programmes en français.
Really?
Oui. Et toutes les télévisions françaises sont sur YouTube.
I've never done it.
Tu n'as pas pensé à faire ça?
I watch movies in French, but very rarely.
Oui. Moi, je trouve que YouTube, c'est fantastique parce que tu peux voir ce que les Français regardent au jour le jour, c'est-à-dire les nouvelles.
I guess I can just listen to it and go about my day in French. En français, ouais.
Les nouvelles sont très centrées sur les économies américaines et les élections américaines. Bien sûr, on parle beaucoup des élections françaises aussi, mais les Français s'intéressent beaucoup à l'Amérique, aux États-Unis.
Okay. Do you speak about stuff going on in Europe too?
Oui.
Ouais.
Si tu vas dans les pays, même la Russie, ils regardent de très près ce qui se passe aux États-Unis.
That makes sense. What about Asia?
Je sais pas si en Asie ça les intéresse.
Oh, okay, fair enough.
Mais je pense que les familles qui ont immigré d'Asie aux États-Unis, je suis sûre ça les intéresse de regarder les programmes asiatiques, pas français.
Ouais, that makes sense. That makes sense.
Mais on a déjà ici une chaîne chinoise. We have a Chinese channel in San Francisco.
Yeah, we've had one for. I mean, Channel 26 was like was like the Chinese channel when I was a kid. I think it was 26.
Oui, mais on n'a pas une chaîne française.
But how many French people are here?
C'est ça le problème.
1%?
Not even.
Yeah, so
c'est pour ça qu'il n'y a pas assez de monde pour justifier d'avoir une chaîne.
Yeah, I mean, I love that I learned a language, although I've lost a lot. But from an international standpoint, I told my son he can learn Spanish or Chinese before French.
Beaucoup plus parlée, l'espagnol.
Yeah.
On est la 5e langue. Je crois que l'espagnol, c'est la 2e ou 3e.
Yeah.
Et puis aussi le chinois, bien parce qu'ils ont beaucoup de monde en Chine.
Yeah, exactly. So, French
du point de vue international, le chinois et l'espagnol, c'est beaucoup plus.
Yeah, French is an international language, but it's not. In the 50s and 60s, French was like my passport when I was born. English and French.
Really?
Yeah, the passport was in French. So like it was like
bilingual, like in Canada.
It was, and now passports, a lot of them have English and a native language, right? But they don't have other languages, you know.
Okay.
And my first passport had French on it.
Okay, and in Canada, je crois que c'est bilingue au Canada.
Well, that's because it's a bilingual. I mean,
it's a bilingual country.
Yeah.
Yeah, j'étais à Vancouver, c'était tout en 2 langues.
Yeah. I mean, they have two. I mean, they have Anglais, you have French and English, like within the country.
So they have to put everything in both.
They have to put everything in both.
Mais aux États-Unis, on fait anglais-espagnol parce qu'il y a beaucoup plus d'espagnol.
Yeah, but I don't think they. Do I have a picture of my passport? I think it's just in English now.
Oh, okay.
I don't think it's. I don't think it's Spanish, and I don't think they will put it in Spanish for whatever reason.
Non, que pour voter, tu peux voter. C'est traduit en espagnol, je crois.
Yes, you could. Yeah, and you can. I mean, maybe you can get one. My newest passport's in English. That's it.
Mm-hmm.
But my first passport was definitely English and French, and it was an English passport. It was an American passport. Sorry.
Oh, okay. Mais je crois que quand on vote, City Hall, ils traduisent en espagnol aussi.
Yeah, but they translate into 20 other languages at City Hall.
Oh,
right?
okay.
Like Tagalog, Ilocano, like Cantonese, Mandarin. Like
really?
Yeah, they do lots of languages there.
Oh, okay. So, yeah, I think la Californie c'est 53% hispanique, c'est ça?
Is it that much? I didn't know it was over half.
Yeah. De 53 à 57, mais c'est surtout dans le sud de la Californie.
Well, that's why I told my son he has to learn Spanish or Mandarin first. He can learn French after. I can, and I know some Spanish. I can help him with either, but it's it's not going to help.
Tu connais l'espagnol alors?
Yeah.
Tu connais l'espagnol?
My first words were agua, so that's my first word is agua. I know I can. I can't understand it as well as I can understand you. I understand about 95% of what you're saying.
D'accord. Non. Mais tu n'as pas étudié le chinois?
Just for one summer at Chinese American.
C'est vrai?
I can go er san se u liu chi pai jiu shi. I just counted to 10. I did little things like that.
Ah, okay. So they let you, ils te laissaient prendre un semestre en chinois?
Well, no. I went there for summertime.
Oh,
like summer camp school.
Et c'était en chinois?
Yeah.
Je sais que Camblin, elle avait la section en chinois.
Yeah, I mean, she was in Hong Kong for
many years.
For years, yeah. Looks like a cool job.
She was the head of all the international.
So sorry, Jane, if you see this, but yes, I can understand, like, no problem. I just, speaking it back, I need to live there again. I need to be there. So again,
you can put that on your future project.
Yeah, I mean, if I took the time to study, I'd probably be okay. I'd much rather write and cook and do those other things.
Yeah, mais de vivre en France 3 mois, ça coûte cher. C'est pas 2 semaines.
Yeah,
3 mois, il faut avoir un budget.
be plenty. 3 months. I lived in Mexico for 6 weeks.
Oui.
I was speaking with all my French or Spanish, so it doesn't take long.
Combien tu crois que ça coûterait de passer 3 mois à Paris? Peut-être.
How much?
Ça te coûterait peut-être...
I don't know if I want to go to Paris, just so we're clear.
Ah bon?
I would go, but for some reason
Tu vas aller au sud alors?
like I wouldn't mind going to Lyon or
Oh yeah, it's more of a countryside.
yeah. If I'm gonna do Paris, is just New York with a different language.
Yeah. Lyon is more like San Francisco.
Yeah, I'd be like that's where I think I'd want to go. You ever meet Heather Little?
Yeah.
Okay, so
I did.
Heather left in 6th grade too.
Oh, so
But
you're back good friends?
Yeah, I've known her since kindergarten,
Oh, okay.
and she's biracial like me. So like we've been friends a long time.
Oh.
She's probably gonna move at some point to Basque. So
Ah oui, elle veut aller.
well, her husband's Basque.
Ah, c'est ça.
So people speak Basque. A lot of people speak Spanish. A lot of people speak French in that part of Spain and France, in that disputed area of the world. So.
C'est vrai. Peut-être que le peu d'années que tu as passé dans une école bilingue va influencer ce que tu vas faire au futur. Peut-être que ça va peut-être te donner envie d'aller au Canada, en France.
I would go to Canada. I would go to France too. I mean, Asia's appealing one because it's definitely more affordable than both those places.
Oh, you can stay longer.
You could it's cheap out there compared to going to those other countries.
Ça aussi, c'est important.
Yeah, 5-star hotel there, 5-star. Here it costs $500, $600, $700 a night.
Mm-hmm.
There it's maybe 160, 150. So it's a big difference in price. You could stay.
You can rent by the month Airbnb.
you can get. I'm sure. I don't know if they use Airbnb out there, but I'm sure they use something.
They do have Airbnb.
Yeah, they probably could do, and it'd probably be way nicer than. I mean, the place.
Than a hotel.
Yeah, but the hotel I was staying at was really nice.
Okay.
And I wouldn't stay in a hotel if I went there by myself for a long term. I was there with my family.
Bon, d'accord. Je crois que je te connais un peu mieux maintenant.
Okay, you understand a little better. Fair enough.
Et tu as l'air d'être quelqu'un de très sympa. Et puis, ça m'a fait plaisir de te parler. Et puis, merci beaucoup d'être venu.
Oh, thanks for having me.
Voilà, donc c'était Michael Lauer de French American International School.
So